What up, what up, what up? This is your man Dre Day, Sportsway with Dre Day podcast, the Hood's ESPN, Crystal Street's very own. Once again, I want to thank y'all all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Y'all already know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sportsway with Dre Day podcast. Hit that like button. Leave a comment at the end of this video. I'm quite sure y'all might want to leave some comments at the end of this one. Hit that notification button so every time a future video is uploaded, you get a notification. Y'all see the title of this, man. Who has the best franchise? Who's the best franchise? Who's the better franchise? Okay? The Los Angeles Lakers or the Boston Celtics. The reason why I came up with this concept was because obviously we know that the Lakers and the Celtics were tied for the most championships. After the Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks earlier this week, they won their 18th World Championship, leaving the Lakers as the sole holder of the second most championships, which would be 17. Then ESPN came up with this idea where they asked who was the better franchise. Now, for certain segments that they do, I will admit, I tune into some of them. Then there's some that I don't tune into. And the reason I don't tune into them is because I want to take that idea and I want to use it on my platform, and I don't want to use anything that they said. I want to have my own opinion. This was one of those instances. When I saw it, I didn't watch because I wanted to do a video on my platform for that said question. So now we are here. Who has the better franchise? The Los Angeles Lakers or the Boston Celtics? Now let's get to it. Now, obviously, you want to talk about everything in a whole. Put everything in a vacuum. For me, it's not just championships, because if you're going just off championships, then obviously the safe answer would be Boston, because Boston has won more than them. But see, me, you got to think outside the box. You got to think of you got to think of everything. You got to put everything in perspective. This is not a situation where you're debating one player and one player has a championship and the other one doesn't. So, I'm going to go with the one that has a championship. I'm talking about two great players, for that matter. I'm not talking about two bums. I'm talking about two great players, and one have a championship and one doesn't. Me, I'm going to go with the one that has the championship because he has experience. In this situation here, we have two of the most storied franchises in NBA history. Obviously, you have a devoted Celtic fan base, and then you have a devoted Laker fan base. I'm 38 years old, be 39 in November. God willing. I've been around long enough to kind of get a feel for both franchises. So, again, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. Hell, you don't even have to disagree with me. That's what the comments is for. But I'm going to give my honest opinion on who I think is the better franchise. Now, again, if we're going off of championships, Boston clearly got it. They clearly got it. Because they have 18, the Lakers have 17. Then, if you really want to get technical, when they've played each other in the finals, whether it was in the 60s, whether it was in the 70s, whether it was in the 80s, or hell, whether it was in 2008 when the Lakers and the Celtics met and all that good shit, when they have met in the finals, which has been 12 times, in the history of the NBA, the Lakers and the Celtics have met in the finals 12 times. The Boston Celtics are 9-3. They are 9-3 against the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals when they meet. So, if you're a Boston Celtic fan, you can use that argument. You got 18 championships, the Lakers got 17, and then when we've played y'all in the finals, we've beaten y'all 9 out of 12. You can use that too. Then you can throw in, the 60s we dominated. The 70s we somewhat dominated. You can't say the 80s you dominated. You won some championships in the 80s, but you can't say you dominated the 80s. That would be the Showtime Lakers, but we're going to get to that. So, if you're a Celtic fan, that will be your thing. Like, okay, we got 18 rings. Y'all got 17. We've beat y'all in the finals 9 out of 12 times. We've been to the finals 23 times. All of that sounds dandy. Bill Russell's got 11 more rings. He got more. Out of all the players in the NBA, he has more rings. And who did he play for? The Celtics. They can say that too. They can say that too. And all of that is nice and peachy. All of that is nice and peachy. But there's always a flip side to that coin. Like Robert De Niro said in the movie Heat, that famous scene with him and Al Pacino sitting at the table. There's always a flip side to that coin. The Lakers could say, hey, okay, you got 18 rings. We got 17. But we've been to the finals 32 times. Now, I know a lot of y'all saying, wait, 17 and y'all been to the finals 32 times. Dang, y'all niggas got a couple of L's. Y'all got a couple of L's. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But look how many times Boston has been there. They've been to the finals 23 times. And they got 18 chips to show for it. They ain't been to the finals that much. Because let's keep it all the way. Listen, let's keep it all the way a buck. Let's keep it all the way a stack. They dominated the 60s. They somewhat dominated the 70s. They shared the 80s with the Lakers. Immediately after that, the Celtics became non-relevant. Are we going to sit here and act like they've always been in the limelight? No, they have not. No, they have not. Boston didn't become relevant like that again until the Big Three formed in 2008. Now, y'all going to sit here and tell me I'm lying? Y'all going to sit here and tell me I'm lying? Real basketball fans out there, the Boston Celtics did not become relevant again after that 86 championship until, well, no, I'm lying. I gotta retract because there was some years when Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker was together and they was doing some good things. I think they made some semifinals. They made a conference finals against the Nets. I remember that, but they still lost. They wasn't making it to the NBA Finals. That's the point. When I say relevant, I'm talking about relevant as far as making the big game, which since 1986, they didn't. So it took 18 years for the Celtics to go back to the finals after 1986. It took them 18 years to do that. Now, yes, they won that championship when they formed the Big Three. With Garnett, Pierce, Allen. Well, that's the Big Three. Then you add Rondo, P.J. Brown, James Posey, Kendrick Perkins, to say the least. Tony Allen was on that squad. Brian Scalabrine, Sam Cassell, Doc Rivers was the coach. Cool. They became relevant again in 2008. Then they had their little matchups with the Lakers in the finals or whatever. They could have been more relevant. But then they broke up. After they lost to Miami, I believe, 2 times in the playoffs. And then Boston became non-relevant again. And then we factor in when they drafted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and now here they are being relevant again. And then they win the championship now, the 2024 championship, And it took them 16 years. It took them 16 years to win another championship. It took them 16 years to win another championship. Now, that's the Celtics case. Now, I just said there's the flip side to that coin. Now let's get to the Lakers side. I'm not even going to say the championships because obviously the Lakers got one less than them. I just said they had 32 finals appearances. That means they've been to the big dance a lot. A lot they've been to them. Obviously, we know they dominated the 80s. Now, again, the Celtics shared the 80s with them. But the reason why I'm going to say the Lakers dominated the 80s was because they won 5 championships in that era. They won 5 championships in that era. 5. All the years that Magic played in that era, they won 5 championships. They damn near went to the NBA Finals every year in that decade. Probably the only year they didn't go was 86. And that's when the Celtics played the Rockets. Other than that, in the 80s, Showtime Lakers was in the NBA Finals. They were in the NBA Finals, so they dominated the 80s era. They dominated that shit. The 90s got a little quiet. I ain't gonna lie, the 90s got a little quiet. You know, they got to the finals against Jordan in 91. They lost that, and then after that, they became somewhat non-relevant, right? Then we get to 2000. Then we get to 2000. And that's when the Lakers get back on their championship run, you can say. They get a 3-peat with Shaq and Kobe, Derek Fisher, and Ron Harper, Horace Grant, Robert Horry, couple of them, a couple of guys, right? They go on their run, they get their 3-peat, all that good shit, right? After Shaq leaves, the Lakers struggle a little bit. The Lakers get back to the finals in 2008. They lose to the Celtics. Then in 2009 and 2010, they win 2 championships. Back to back. And then after that, the Lakers just declined. It wasn't until 2020 where they won another championship. So it took them 10 years to win their latest championship. Even though it's in the bubble, championship is championship. Unfortunately, you know, you still have to count shit like that. Because people, listen, I'm a Spurs fan. People don't like giving the Spurs the credit for winning the 99 championship because it was in a bubble. But, I mean, not a bubble, but it was in a lockout season, so you didn't play that many games. A championship is a championship to me, all right? It's not an end-season it's not an end-season tournament championship, but you get what I'm saying. But here's the common denominator about all of those things about the Lakers. The Lakers have always been relevant. They've always been relevant. Don't get it fucked up. The Lakers have even when the Lakers were struggling, the Lakers were always in the limelight. The Lakers were always the center of attention. The Lakers were always relevant. See, unfortunately, the Celtics can't say that. They weren't always relevant. When they was losing and staking up the joint, they weren't always relevant. They just weren't. The Lakers, though, always was relevant. When Shaq left and Kobe had them bum-ass teams, they were still relevant. They were still relevant. I'm talking about the early 2000s. Before Pau Gasol and them came, and when it was just Kobe with Smush Parker and a bunch of these other niggas, the Lakers were still relevant. After the back-to-back championships in 2010, before Kobe got injured, the Lakers were still relevant. somewhat making the playoffs. Some years they did, some years they didn't. They were still relevant. They were still relevant. The Celtics wasn't always relevant. But now let's get to the crux of it. Like, let's really get to the meat and potatoes of this shit. You understand what I'm saying? When you talk about a brand, right? The Celtics, that's a brand name, right? Their fan base, honestly, is only in the Northeast. If you want to be technical, their fan base is only in the Northeast, right? So you got Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine. You know, all those states up north. That's kind of their fan base. Why? Because those states don't have an NBA team. They don't. They don't have an NBA team. So they're going to hold on tight to the team that's close to them. And that would be the Celtics, which is understandable. Now, you might sprinkle some Celtics fans in New York. You may sprinkle some Celtics fans in Jersey. And they don't have a team. That's it. That's it. The Lakers, though? That purple and gold, that Lakers. Oh, no, their brand is worldwide. They got fans every motherfucking where. Everywhere. In all 50 states, across the world, that Laker brand is huge, okay? To the point where they are the 15th most popular team in the world. I didn't say in the NBA, I said in the world. So we're talking NBA teams, Major League Baseball teams, NFL teams, soccer teams. They are in the top 15 of most popular teams in the world, and they at 5.9 billion. I did my research. I didn't see the Celtics on that list. Respectfully, didn't see them on that list. But the Lakers, though, yes. Yes, indeed. So, yes, the Celtics have more championships. It's only one. It's only one. Now, if they had a 5 or 6 championship advantage, then maybe I'll go with them. Maybe I'll say them. But it's only one championship above them. There's only one championship above the Lakers. And then let's get to this. Let's really get to this before I get off here. When you think of Celtic greats, which it's a lot of them, right? It's a lot. Too many to name. How many of them can you truly say is in the top 5 or top 10 of all time? I can name 2. The late, great Bill Russell and Larry Bird. That's it. If you ask anybody their top 5 or top 10, hell, let's do 15. Let's do 15. If you do 15, top 15 greatest players in the history of the NBA, only 2 Celtics are going to be on that list. And that will be Mr. Bill Russell and Larry Bird. The Lakers, on the other hand, the Lakers, on the other hand. Again, we're talking about better franchise. This shit counts. This shit counts. If we're talking better franchise, this counts. Because guess what? The success that I'm talking about, it all was when they was with the Lakers. It's all when it was with the Lakers. Magic. You don't think Magic Johnson is a top 15 player? Of course he is. Kareem. Of course he's a top 15 player. Shaq. Of course he's a top 15 player. Kobe. Of course he's a top 15 player. Wilt Chamberlain. Of course he's a top 5 player. Listen, I know he's playing for the Lakers now. I know he's playing for the Lakers now, but obviously we know LeBron is a top 15 player, right? So that's 6 players that I named that played for the Lakers that you can make a case is definitely in the top 15, right? The Celtics, you can only say 2. Kevin McHale was not in nobody's top 15. Dennis Johnson, God bless the dead, is not in nobody's top 15. John Havlicek isn't either. Bob Cousy isn't either. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Red Auerbach is one of the greatest coaches in the NBA history. Yes, I'll give you that. But when we're talking about top 15 players, there's only 2 players that wore that green and white that you could say that for. And that's Mr. Bill Russell and Larry Bird. That's it. That is it. But the Lakers, though, you got 6 guys that you could say that for. And then last but not least, every sport has a logo, don't they? Every sport has a logo. Now, for some of the other sports, we may not know who that person is in that logo, but the NBA, we know who that logo is. And who would that be? The late, great Mr. Jerry West. And what team did he play for? I think it would be the Los Angeles Lakers. So for me, with everything that I just gave y'all, I believe that the Los Angeles Lakers, out of the 2, is the better franchise, in my opinion. In my opinion. That's just mine. Now, you can agree or disagree. Hell, there might be some old heads, OGs, much older than me that may watch this and say they disagree. I wouldn't argue with them. I'm going off of my perspective. This video might be from a perspective standpoint. And in my honest opinion, I believe that the Los Angeles Lakers is the better franchise as a whole between them and the Boston Celtics. So, listen, that's my opinion. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Y'all know what y'all got to do. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up in them comments. Tell me what you think. Give me your opinion. Who's the better franchise, the Lakers or the Celtics? Los Angeles Lakers or Boston Celtics? Once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sportswear with Dre Day Podcast. Hit that like button. Again, leave a comment. Hit that notification button so every time a new video drops, you're immediately notified. So again, catch y'all on the flip side. Until next time, God bless. Peace and love. Y'all be safe. Your boy is out of here. Peace.